see it. Are we there? There we are. Hey everyone, welcome to Parent Empowerment for Everyday Living.
It's loud. It's definitely loud enough.
I am Tikisha Michelle, and guess what, y'all? We're back. We are back, and guess what? Guess who's with me? With us? We've got Leo. So we are. Who are we? Tikisha and Leo. Yes, with Dr. Ada. Yes, we are so excited to be here with you all today. It's been a couple of weeks. You all got the replay on Thursday last week, so I hope you took some time to check it out and you had the opportunity to just simply enjoy it. And we're going to go further. We're going to go a bit further with this disciplining, okay? And this is always that situation. Okay, so we're going to go a bit further with disciplining behavior. So that's the topic for today. Disciplining behaviors. What? Maybe people don't understand, but that's okay. Guess what? Today, I got you. I don't know if y'all used to watch when I used to do a word for your Wednesday, but today I have a few words for you. I'm going to set you up, okay? I want you to understand what it is we're talking about. So disciplining behaviors, we're talking about children are a manifestation of what's happening at home, right? You know, that's what I always say. Children are a manifestation of what's happening at home. So we got Proverbs, chapter 22:6 talks about training up a child in the way they should go. Disciplining behaviors. And it's going to make even more sense to you as we continue on. All right, here we go. So discipline. First, I'm going to define for you the word discipline. There's a lot. So it's a lot to unpack. Every time we come with y'all, we are coming to share some information so that we can empower you to ensure the success of your children. So today we're going to start simply with definitions. All right, here we go. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Ready? Here we go. So discipline, controlling behavior to achieve important goals. Okay, we are controlling behavior. Hold on to that though, because people oftentimes they get control mixed up. Don't worry, we're going to go a bit further with that word control. So also, discipline means training that makes people more willing to obey, hold on to that, and more able to control themselves. I thought that was a fantastic definition because ultimately that's what we want to happen. We want you to train your children, like the word says.
Yep.
Train your children so that they will get to a point where they are better able to control themselves. All right? Going a bit further, using punishment. Now, some people don't like that. No. Using punishment to correct behavior. Right? You can type in the chat if you don't like it, but it's the definition. Some people do it differently. And we're going to continue to unpack it. So another definition or another statement that goes with this is that people should be mindful of the age and the developmental stage of the child when considering discipline.
We're going to talk about that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. You see Dr. Ada's ready, right? As well she should be, because her name's Mom, right? So let's keep it moving. Focus on the expected outcome. Begin with the end in mind.
Yes.
We talk about that at school all the time, right? Yes. Begin with the end in mind. Make a plan, work the plan, I always say. So all of these things are very important. A proactive, which is what Education Inside Out is all about. We are working towards being proactive. You shouldn't have to be reactive. It is a proactive approach towards desired behavior. What is your desired outcome? What do you want? Hey, Irene, thank you for typing that in the chat. I appreciate you. Yes, indeed. Welcome, welcome. So, man, behavior. That's our next word. You've already had the word discipline. Now behavior. Because I was like, man, disciplining behaviors. when we were talking about, last week or last time we were together, about, parents being actively involved, this is another way you can be actively involved, right?
Yeah.
We need you to understand behavior. And behavior is the way someone acts or conducts themselves. Real simple. The way they act or conduct themselves, and sometimes it's in response to stimuli, external or internal. We can talk about traumas. We can talk about people who trigger you, right? So what is your behavior? We talk about character, right? Character oftentimes is exhibited through our behaviors, right? What have you been taught? And what are you teaching your children? So hold on to this. This is something, so teachers, hold on to this, because I really, as I was processing all of this information, I thought, directions or redirections, or directing or redirecting is not discipline. It is denying the fact that you are not in control.
Really?
They are.
Can you expand on that, please?
If I have to tell you over and over and over again, you heard me, when I hear them, when I hear people say, and then when I say it, I'm like, you dummy. But when I told you that, I tell you all the time, you're wasting your breath. You're repeating it so that other people hear it. And denying the fact that nobody, right,
is listening to you.
And if they are, they hear you. They're not listening. Let's just be more concise. They can hear you, but they're really not listening. I even have to tell kids sometimes. I stop and I say, do you hear my voice? If I'm repeating myself, let's stop, because the first problem could be an auditory problem. Maybe you can't hear me. Let's get that out of the way. And then they stop and they look at me. So now I know you can hear me. Now we can go further, right? So with that, hold on to that. Now let me give you control. People think control is a bad word.
Has a negative connotation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. People think control is a bad word. It's negative. But control is simply the power to influence or direct people's behavior.
Yeah.
Now, do people use it in a bad way?
Often.
Of course.
Absolutely. However, it's kind of like, I'm not going to use it, but there are words that we now consider bad words in the world that we live in, right? When words simply mean things like the donkey. Right?
Yeah.
Simply.
Yeah.
But then we turn around and we use it, and instead of using it to actually refer to a donkey, we use it as a bad negative word. Just like the word control. All that is, it's influence. Power and influence. Control is power and influence. So when we talk about it, Education Inside Out, our 3 pillars are building better relationships, establishing consistency, and maintaining control. Because if now you have relationship and you've been consistent, now you should have the power to influence what happens with your family, regardless if you're present. Okay, you hear what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
So with that, I say to you again, train up a child in the way that they should go. Because then when they're older, what?
They won't depart.
They won't depart from it.
No.
And then you're not repeating yourself.
Over and over.
Right. I used to
Over
tell them, I'm
again.
not going to waste breath that I could use to one day beckon for my children or my, whomever. If I need help, I'm not wasting my breath on repeating these things to you when I might need those breaths. They might be needed later in an emergency situation. Darest I not? So, parents, I'm going to say this to you. This is, if I don't say it, I tell teachers this and I tell parents this. Use fewer words. If you have taught the lesson, then you won't. You should not have that denial. You should be able to say what you mean and mean what you say. People say that all the time. I say what I mean and I mean what I say.
Oh, okay.
You say it over and over again, which means it really hasn't caught on.
It's not landing.
So say it all day long and you're going to just simply be tired and out of breath. So with that, you want to teach, you want to train, you want to be in a space where you are in control even when you are not present.
Can I say something?
Absolutely. Please go for it.
You know how it says train up a child?
Mm-hmm.
Knowingly or unknowingly, you're still training. So whether you're doing it by modeling the behavior or verbally, you're training one way or another. By what you're not doing, what you're allowing, and not setting boundaries
Which will allow.
negotiables and non-negotiables and having a standard. And if your words are, if you're saying what you're going to do and you don't do it, then the child knows that.
They absolutely know it.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So I'm going to whoop your butt, or I'm going to put you in timeout.
There you go.
Well, when? Like after I do it the 12th time?
And the child knows.
They do.
That's why they
Oh
keep
my God.
repeating the
Yes.
behavior, right?
That's right.
Most
and then when you really get mad is when they laugh at you.
Yeah. Because they think it's funny.
Yeah.
They do. And then you want to go find a bell. Then you want to chase them. Then all your triggers. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And you want to go get them now.
Get them.
Come here. Come here. And then you just lose everything about you. All your cool points.
Yeah.
As they say, once said, used to say, go smooth out the window because the child just laughed at you because you're inconsistent. That's what Leo said.
Leo said it.
I got your back. I got your back. I got your back.
Now, what if, as a parent, you feel like you are truly establishing yourself and your child is still having adverse behavior?
Well, you know what, Dr. Ada? I feel like, you know how I said before that we check for auditory. What's the problem? What's the underlying problem that they may have? Maybe it's you, mom, dad, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they have a medical condition.
Maybe nutrition.
Maybe. There, look at you.
Segue.
Segue.
No, but I think it's really important, just like the two of you said, setting that standard from day one if possible. And even if you didn't get a chance to do so, still continue to improve on your skills. Don't give up, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So to piggyback onto that, are we segueing to?
We are segueing.
Oh, Lord, let me tell you. So everything the two of you just said is incredibly important, especially, you know, I'm a new mom, 2.5-year-old, acting like a 13-year-old is trying me at the moment. And so oftentimes I have to take my doctor hat off and really assess, you know, am I doing the best that I can?
Okay.
And oftentimes when you feel like you are, then there's got to be something else.
Yep, always something else.
There's got to be something else. And so I hear this a lot with parents. XYZ is behaving this way. Or I see the behavior in the office and I'm like, that's not, I don't like to use the word normal,
Okay.
but something is off.
Okay.
This is not a sustainable type of behavior. If
I
this
love it.
child-
Sustainable. Yes.
If this child is going to be going into the classroom,
Right,
whether
right.
homeschooling or not, going to church, in a doctor's office, why is your child running rampant, right?
And you're saying nothing.
You say nothing. So my first thing is address the parent. Hey, get your child together.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a behavior that is very abnormal, then usually the parent says something to me, and sometimes I have to say, hey, mom and dad, I'm noticing this. What are your thoughts? Because I want to make sure that I'm not attacking them. Maybe it's something that they have no idea about, or maybe it's behavior that they recognize but they're embarrassed to address it.
We talked about that last time about being embarrassed, right? They're embarrassed, but then so they won't say anything. But that's what you want your life to look like. You want to always be embarrassed.
Embarrassed and prideful.
Oh,
talk about prideful. What?
what?
Yeah, I don't want to admit that there's a problem.
Not
'cause
my
put
child,
it all together. Yeah,
right?
not my child. Yeah.
They don't do that at home. Oh, they don't? So speaking from personal experience, today is Thursday, correct?
Yes.
So every day this week, my daughter's teacher has come to speak to me about my daughter's behavior in the classroom. And as a mother who, I help parents with their behavioral children, and I'm like, oh, not my easy, but I know good and well I have a very strong-willed child. But I have been noticing some behavior that I think is above and beyond what should be normal for her age range.
Okay.
There's the biting, the pushing, the hitting, right? They're learning boundaries and possession, but there's just something that seems off, and it's mirrored by her sleep is off, her nutrition. She eats well, but as parents, you always assess other factors. If there's a behavioral issue with your child, are there other things that you notice there's a pattern? Like, are they not sleeping well, right? Are they communicating with other people in the same manner? Or and so if you're checking off yes, yes, and yes, then the problem may be within them.
When you say within them, what does that look like?
So it could be a multitude of things. And so I would like to kind of break things down so that, because parents can be overwhelmed and they don't know where to start. So for one, the first thing I always ask parents is, are any of the other kids behaving this way? Or did any of, like if they're younger kids, did your older kids behave this way? Or if they're older, do you see any issues with the other kiddos?
Right.
Yes or no, then we continue on. But one of the things I probably see the most common is nutrition.
Talk about it. That's where we're going. That's where we're nutrition. She said nutrition. Did y'all hear that?
Nutrition. And parents,
what you eat or feed your kids.
And parents are very, very defensive about this because how dare you attack nutrition?
But why do we say attack though, right? Why do we again?
It's
control.
a visceral response because as soon as you say it,
yeah.
You know, I watch people and it's this. It's what? Think of this, guys. If you drive a really expensive car, a BMW, right? All of our kids are BMWs, Porsches, Mercedes. What type of fuel do you put in those vehicles? The premium, the most expensive, because as soon as you don't, what happens to your vehicle?
It breaks down.
It'll break down. I mean, I've done that before.
Let me just own my own stuff.
I've done that before, being cheap, and I was like, I put the mid-grade when I wasn't supposed to, and halfway down the car just starts jerking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just put a full tank of mid-grade, and I was supposed to be.
Oh, you did it. You were serious. You didn't only do it. You did it to the
I was in college.
You went all in.
I was in college.
Wait a minute, hold on, pause. She said she was in college.
And I did that.
She had
undergrad college, not chiropractic.
Wait a minute, hold on. You were undergrad and you had a vehicle that required.
It was not mine.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. We're gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna quit meddling with Dr. Ada.
Don't put all my business out there. Don't put all my business out there. It was not my vehicle, which makes it even worse. Right? But I digress. But think of your children as high-powered machines. What you put into them will dictate how they behave.
What you got? He's itching.
Because I know what some parents. I'm with you.
Yes.
I'm with you because health is important.
Health
it's vital.
well. Yeah.
So some parents are going to say they're going to go with the socioeconomic status.
Yes.
I can go to the grocery store, Dollar General. I can get a bag of chips for $1 or $2.
Yes.
I can go to Walmart Food Line. I'm paying $6 for apples and oranges.
Yes.
And then they have to eat it within a certain time for it to go bad.
Yeah.
So what's your response to that? Because I know it can happen, but break it down mathematically, planting a garden.
That is a very sensitive subject because I had to have this conversation a couple months ago with a family. We did a nutritional consult. So I do nutritional consults for individuals.
That's what they do it in health with Dr. Ada.
And we had mom and dad. They were both at work, so everyone, we were on Zoom. And money is really, really tight. And I say, I understand that, but this is you and your child. If there's anything that you guys can cut out to put money towards better nutrition, that sacrifice needs to happen because one of the things, one of the assessment is the food that you're putting into your child is affecting their behavior. They can't sleep, they can't concentrate, they're getting poor grades in school. Their behavior is off the wall because they don't have the proper nutrition to even allow their brain to focus and pay attention.
And she doesn't just say that to parents who are trying to figure it out. She says it to other clients as well.
All the time.
Yeah. I'm a witness.
All the time because you are what you eat and you process and you assimilate.
Right? Yeah. I've made changes. Thank you, Dr. Ada.
Thank God, yes. And we see the results, right?
Yes.
But this is how I know food is affecting kids because I see the manifestation in adults. And I see how hard it is to change behavior because of how addictive the poor quality foods they were consuming are. I just had a conference yesterday with a couple who, one of them had a pretty intensive surgery, and they're not healing well at all. It's like 9 months post-surgery, and the doctors are concerned that, hey, this is not healing like we're supposed to. And the one thing the doctor did not address is nutrition and their current condition, which is based off of nutrient deficiencies. So I digress. When it comes to kids, the next question is, okay, I need to change my diet, my children's diet. Yes, money, problem. But a quick fix for right now, Dr. Ada, is putting my child on medication. How do you feel about it? And in my head, I'm like, why on earth would you ask me that? Because you should already know what I'm going to say.
If you know her. But talk about it, though.
But I get it, though.
Okay.
I get it. And especially now as a parent, because especially when you feel like you've done everything, or right now, I don't know what to do, so it's easier for my child to get on this medication until we can figure it out. That's also very dangerous, because what I've been seeing now is the school, and I don't know how this plays out in school, so I'll need you guys' input on that, but the schools say, if you don't do XYZ, your child either will be kicked out or some sort of adverse effect, right? And the parent is like,
based on school.
Yep. The parent's like, well, I can't change anything. I'm a single mom, a single dad. Let's put them on the medication, and then we can make the changes. And I've worked with families, and that's worked because the parent needed to be very consistent, very strict. But then I've also had some parents whose kiddo has been on Adderall or Ritalin or all those for 5 or 6 years, and now they're starting to see other behavioral issues like depression, sleeplessness, racing heart, blood pressure issues, weight gain, weight loss. And so then the fix is another medication.
Always.
And then another medication. So by the time this child is now 15, they're probably on 3 to 4 medications.
Sometimes by the time they're 7.
7.
We've seen
as young as 5.
We've seen it happen. And then you wonder why they become suicidal. Why do they become, not narcissistic. What's the
bipolar?
other word? All of the different things. Yes.
Psychosomatic.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Psychotic. Why do they become all of these things? Because this is what the medications. And the only reason I chime in because Dr. Ada and I have been working together for a while, and we've had to talk through some things about just some clients. Some kids who have had some issues, and I'm like, man, just getting her input because she is a wealth of knowledge and information. And oh my goodness, it's spot on. And I wish some of the folks in here, if you have ever been serviced by Education Inside Out or Dr. Ada, tell the people, oh yes, so true. I know it.
Yes. So I'd like to break down some things as far as what in the food is actually causing some of these issues. And most parents, they hear about it and they're just like, yeah, I get it. But I need for you guys to really understand the devastating effects of some of these foods, particularly dyes. And they're done so. These dyes are purposely given to kids because they're very addictive. But most parents don't really understand what they do to the behavior. And the specific region of the brain is your prefrontal cortex. And if you Google, you can Google this. This is free to Google. I actually have plenty of documents I'm going to send to Tikisha Michelle. So if any of you guys want to see the actual scientific proof, it's there. But a lot of these chemicals and dyes in our foods affect the prefrontal cortex, which is your decision making and your behavior center.
But Dr. Ada, it said it's no artificial flavors, but it's like peach.
So then you have to look into the chemicals.
They create the peach flavor.
Anything that says natural flavor is not real. If it says the actual thing, whether it's the food coloring or the flavor, then it's safe to say yes. But it says peach flavor or natural flavor, it's a chemical.
Because how many peaches y'all think it takes to make that whole case of peach flavored, what is it, pop soda? Sorry, y'all say.
They say we say pop, right?
We say pop. Oh yeah, we say pop.
Yeah.
You say soda.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So
soda pop.
Yeah. So how many peaches you think it would take to make all of the peach flavored drinks in every single refrigerator? across the country.
Now, believe it or not as many as you think, but the cost of that peach is the problem.
Right, but you pay $1.25, maybe $2 for your bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So how many orchards
Yeah.
do you think it would take?
Yeah.
Cherries too. Cherry flavored.
So I'd like to go back to.
It sounds like you're saying as well, because I heard this, that for fruits and vegetables, you want it in its natural state. If not, once you break it down, you're not getting the proper nutrition that you need. So once you start breaking it down, it's not the same.
Well, think about it. You know, when we have family gatherings and we've got the casseroles and the overly cooked fruits and vegetables to make them palatable, right? You're pouring the sugar or the salt. You're literally hiding the flavor of these vegetables.
Wow.
Now, for most people, vegetables don't taste very good. That's because your tongue hasn't fully developed the sensory to accept it.
So taste is learned, not acquired.
Yes. Now, there are some vegetables and fruits, to be honest, that we should not be eating, and there's like blood type and where you're at regionally in the world. But for the most part, if you don't start when they're young, if you don't start these kiddos when they're young, good luck introducing them when they're older, because those taste buds, not only do they need to be nurtured, but they can also be completely crashed when you introduce these poor quality foods, because those neurochemicals literally dumb down the flavor of these foods.
All of these things in your tongue. Oh my goodness, we did a whole training as parent advocates a couple of summers ago about your tongue and how it receives different flavors. The front part of your tongue, the back part of your tongue.
The sour, the savory, the sweet, the salty.
But guess what? If you've been, we talked about this in I think our first video about if you're doing it. We talked about disciplining behaviors, right? We want to control them. We want to achieve an expected outcome. What are you expecting to achieve? What is your goal with your children? We all gonna sit on the sofa and eat a bag of chips?
Yeah.
We all gonna go crazy? I'm sorry, not crazy. Are we all going to have some issues that we have to deal with and overcome?
Right?
You know? And so, I can't. So think about that. You know, I talk about think on these things, right? Philippians chapter 4, right? 4 and 8. Think on these. These are the things that are good.
Yeah.
Right? This is a good report, right? These are the things that are needed so that you can ensure the success of your children.
Yeah.
Y'all, we've had a shorter time today. We got a lot more to say. I got more notes. Dr. Ada got more notes. But I'm going to ask him to leave you with this. Leo, you got something else you want to share? Because we didn't even share many stories today.
Just real quick, when you just said about if people just sitting on the couch eating potato chips, what's the end result that is going to be?
Yeah.
So I know, obesity and blood pressure, high blood pressure, but if we're training knowingly or unknowingly, that's one of the end results. And then some people are going to talk about genetics, but these things are impacting our children and us as adults as well. Yeah. So I think health is vital. So I think that's one of the problems, like how you said, Dr. Ada, why we're seeing certain things in the society that we're seeing. Yeah.
I mean, I still hear, well, my mama had it, or genetics are the gun. Your environment is the bullet. Right? We can't play the genetic game anymore. I hope we continue this conversation next time, because I've got some very specific things that I would like parents to really process, because I think it'll make or break that parent that says, I don't have enough money to buy the apples and oranges. It's just easier to give my child chips. I want you to have enough tools in your pocket to make those decisions, because I get it. I mean, I'm breaking the bank every week I shop, and I'm like, man, that bag of green organic apples, right? Versus that bag of chips. I mean, but then I don't know, bag of chips nowadays, like Doritos. You ever go down that aisle?
They're like $5.
$6.
Yeah.
Oh,
inflation.
Yes.
And listen, listen. This is a doctor saying this. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that she's rich, but so this
I'm like, socioeconomic status.
We're all struggling. The struggle is real, right? Everywhere, the struggle is real. But then the other thing that we asked you long ago when we first started was, it's hard to pay for it now. What you gonna pay for later?
Exactly. And I think next time we speak, we're really going to talk about the effects of medication.
That's
the cost
that thing.
of it.
Yes,
Insurance now, when insurance is having families go through just to get on these medications, to kind of offset the cost, they're now requiring parents to put up finances now to pay for some of these medications. But then you also want to look at the long-term effects of these medications. Is far worse than the actual condition that you're trying to treat, right? So
goodness, and some folks are not even, because people feel some type of way about the medications, and we get it.
I get it.
However, I mean,
there's got to be a plan.
There's got to be a plan, and what are you setting your child up for? What are you doing? And maybe you only have one child. What if you got 3? And you're feeding them all the same, and then you're going to release them into society? And then we get to teach them, or not. We get to care for them while they're with us, because all that they've eaten, all they've consumed, has caused this not to function as it should.
And there's a window. At each age, there's a window. When it comes to math, reading, writing, there's a window of maturation. And if that prefrontal cortex is damaged or completely shut down, that child may not ever be able to get that lesson because they missed that time frame.
Goodness, and we out here trying to make it happen. We're trying to shovel. We're trying to push it in. And then we say, Mom, Dad, Grandma, can you help us?
Yeah.
You don't even know what to do, which is why we're here.
So I hope next time we get some more in-class reflection on what a child's behavior is like. And then what I would like to do is say that type of behavior is associated with this type of food or condition.
She wants to tell you more.
Yes.
So yeah, we got to wrap it up today. Dr. Ada could talk about this all day long, which is why Dr. Ada is a part of Parent Empowerment for Everyday Living, because she's got all of the good stuff, right? Leo and I, we deal with this stuff all the time in the schoolhouse, from elementary all the way up to middle school, and I know it's happening in high school.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Listen, we want you, make sure you tell your folks to chime in to Parent Empowerment for Everyday Living right here on Facebook, every other Thursday live. You can also leave your comments. We'll respond. And then we're also going to be on the replay on Thursday next week, right? So alternating weeks, you get the replay on Thursday. You get us live on the other weeks. Leave your comments. Tell your friends to check us out. You know it's good stuff. You may not like it at first, but it's good stuff, okay? Some things we got to own ourselves. Yeah. And then we got to look and see, what am I doing? What am I doing? No matter what the world is saying or doing, what am I doing to my children? And I know we do the best we can with what we've got. And now you've got us. And we're going to give you all the best information. We're going to give you the tools you can use to ensure the success of your children. I am Tikisha Michelle. This is Leo. This is Dr. Ada. And we are Parent Empowerment for Everyday Living. And we look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.